Get ready because this week is going to be absolutely crazy, especially since last week was, put it one way, we had 3 ties last week. There's almost very little chance that there's going to be the same amount this next week. Hey boy, this is Sports Hour. All right, so week was a pretty interesting week, just being effective of all the teams that actually entered. I actually apparently forgot 2 of the actual hits, but there were 3 games that went to overtime, and the overtime games were all ended in different ways. And just to point out, it's very difficult to have 3 times go to overtime. It's even more difficult to have 3 games go to different points in overtime. So having 3 games go to overtime. Yes. First of all, the first game that went over overtime was the Panthers and Lions game, which was not too surprising. The only thing that was surprising was the final score in the regular, before they went to overtime, was 98-98. So the Lions scored 2 points in overtime. And just to go with that, how on earth does a team just score 2 points in overtime when you've scored 98 prior to that? Kind of weird and doesn't really make much sense. But at least the games went out well. As for this week, it was a very weird week. And then we had the UNC and the Pirates faced off. Pirates lost that game, which was honestly really surprising because the Pirates were greatly favored there. Athens beat the Tigers. Pretty normal for that game. It was favored again for the Tigers to win. Jets and Browns. The Jets get the first win of the season. Yeah, it probably won't last, considering they only won like with the last 2 minutes of the game. It was tied like 2 minutes left in the game, 85-85, and then the Jets just somehow wins. As for the Jets and Lions game, they went out all out throughout the first 4 quarters. Ended up being tied 98-98, and then the Lions only scored 2 points, and the Panthers scored 23 at the end of that. As for the Dragons and the Colts, it went pretty well for all that entire game. The Dragons didn't lose in that game against the Colts in the last couple of seconds. It was actually a pretty low-scoring game up to that point. It was only 88-88 at that time when they went to overtime, and the Colts didn't win in that game. But it was a last-second shot, last-second three-pointer ended up ending that game. As for the Buckets and Dolphins, we had another tie. It doesn't happen too often. We have several ties in the season, but there's a really weird thing about this one. Now we'll get to that in a few moments. As for the other two games that were divisional, the Lions did lose against the Otters, and the Hawks again lost. Not too impressed right now of the team. A big thing going off here is that we look at the NBL North. The NBL North we have two really good teams, two really bad teams. That's basically it. When we have the NBC South, who has exactly the same scenario. Two really good teams, two really bad teams. Then we have the NBC West, which has three really good teams and one bad team. So all these divisions are really weird. The only division that really there's two divisions that are outliers. And the two divisions are the ABL West, who has pretty much all good teams. The Packers are the worst of those teams, but even they have only a 3-4 record. And it still looks it's a pretty good chance that any of those teams could potentially win the playoffs. As for the ABL East, we're basically going, this team was better than this team was better than that team, and that team was better than this team. Who knows what's going on? They're all scoring very badly in this context. Yes. The team their one division is really kind of weird right now. All scoring decently, but not great, was the Werewolves, Colts, Bobcats, and Texans. And here's the weird thing about that division. They have their bottom three are all tied. And the Werewolves only have a half a game ahead of everybody else. Please tell me how that works. And all of them have a 3.57 rating as of right now. Doesn't really show much. The teams are kind of outlying right now and are pretty much not necessarily ensured in the playoffs at this point, but are very likely to make playoffs in the Panthers. Very likely to make playoffs. They have 125, and that's not even close to any other team. The next closest team who has a pretty decent record is going to be the Lions. So, I mean, the Lions didn't do great off of that. And who knows what's going to happen with those teams going on to next week. I'm going to go ahead and get right into the predictions here. And the predictions for last week, I did not do great. I didn't do terrible. Predictions for last week. Here's predictions for last week. I'm at 71 and 41 right now. 112 games. As for the overall, yeah, they're not doing so hot. They got a bit. And just to go with predictions for that. That's literally a very bad rating. It's not very good at all. I mean, honestly, it's not at all great. As for the other side, though, they're not doing very well, very hot at all. I mean, they're going I mean, in reality, if you really want to, their rating is not honestly much better. I mean, they only have a slightly better than average 51.8. There's the percentages. If you guys want to get into this season, you can do it right now. I did not update the point predictions for this, but I need to do that. And you guys feel free to do that, because the only things that you're just gonna get a little penalty for being late. And starting at the end of this week, if you guys haven't got your team in, you're not going to get a full. You're not gonna get the full points. As of right now, you're getting the full points for any wins that have happened at that time. But as of week 8, end of week 8, you will lose points for getting a little bit late prediction. I believe it's 1 point per week. You'll get a prediction. You'll get some losses off that, but that's okay. I mean, honestly, it's not every chance. And you guys can go ahead and do your predictions as well. It goes by rating. Yes. All right. Now, getting into the next week, this is going to be a really weird week. I've already done my predictions on these things, and I actually put the records here. I predict a first game, which will be the Saturday game against for the Panthers and the Dogs. I predict the Dogs to lose that game. I'm going with a 4-point prediction. However, I think it's going to be a much more, it'll be a much closer game than what the Lions say. Dolphins, Falcons. If the Falcons have actually won a game, which they have not, then I would have actually had some predictions for the Falcons to actually lose the game. The point is, I think that because of how the Dolphins have been handling it, if you look back at the Dogs, sorry, not the Dogs, the Falcons scoring 70-some points per game versus the Dolphins, who are scoring 95. I am picking the Falcons to win this game, but honestly, I can't. It's very difficult. I'm going to go over a 1-point prediction here. I think it's likelihood that this could be one of the games that get completely wrong this week. All right, moving on to the Otters and Ravens game. A very tough and interesting game. Otters are 6-1. Ravens are 4-3. My prediction here came from I predict the Otters because the Otters do have a much higher rating. They have about 98 points per game versus you have the Ravens, who aren't scoring nearly as high. They're only scoring 88 points per game. I'm going with the Otters to win this game. Browns and Tex. I'm going with a 2-point prediction here. The thing about this one is the Browns and Tex are both really good defenses. As you see, the Tex have 93 over defense, which is really good. As for the Browns, they have a 93. So really, it's going to come down to what the offense and defense stance. And I honestly think that I gotta change my mind off this. Looking at what's going on, I'm going with the Tex to win this game. My prediction. I'm not changing my predictions basically off of it because I haven't actually uploaded this video. It would go live at noon tomorrow. On Thursday, basically. Alright, Packers and Lightning. Tough game for both teams. I'm going to go with the Packers losing this game. I'm going to go with a 1-point prediction in favor of the Lightning. However, this game could be either way, but this is the toughest division as of right now. Could go either way. Lions and Saints. This is a tough one also. I have to go off of what I think with the Saints having, with the Lions having a much higher record, more about points, versus the Saints who don't have as many points. But the idea here is the Lions are allowing about as many points per game as their opponents. The Saints are allowing about the same amount, and this is a very tough game for me to even call. I'm going with 1 point prediction in favor of the Saints, although I think this is very easily a game that could be the Lions. The game of the week this week. UNC and the Jets, they're both terrible. I'm going to go over 1 point prediction. I'm going all these really close in favor of UNC. I don't think the Jets are going to. It's sure the Jets won this week, but I don't think that's going to matter this week for anything. Dragons, Angels, tough game, both teams. I'm going to go with a 3-point prediction in favor of the Jets. Cardinals and the Pirates. Because of how the Pirates have done this season, I'm going Cardinals all day. There's no way I think the Cardinals are going to lose this game. If they happen to lose this game, then we've got some other problems. All right, Bulldogs and Werewolves. Close one. I don't even know how to say anything. I'm going to go with a 4-point prediction in favor of the Werewolves, but I think it's going to be a very close game either way. Indians and Supermen, both these teams have struggled in their teams' offensive ratio. Indians have gotten 88, but they also have really strong defenses. As for the Werewolves, as for the Superman, their team just happens to be a little bit better in this case. I have to go to the Superman. I'm going to go with a 6-point prediction. Chargers and Beagles, pretty high. It's totally going with the Beagles. There's just not really anything I can say about that. Beagles are scoring a lot better than the Chargers are right now. I say the Beagles are scoring on average 4. Actually, they're not really scoring a whole lot better, to me, I think it's, but they're scoring better than the Chargers, and that's why I'm going to go off of that. We've got a pretty interesting game with Giants and Westville. I got to go with Giants because of the fact that I think the Giants are going to do a whole lot better. Giants currently have had some really tough teams. As for the Westville, they have not really had that many tough teams at all. So I'm going to go in favor of the Giants win the game. I'm going to go with a 1-point prediction in this case. Colts, Bobcats. We have a divisional matchup. 2 teams that have ties. So in reality, I'm hoping this is not the way this works. They could still be tied. In reality. But this game basically decides who gets second place in the division. And I'm going to go with a 2-point prediction in favor of the Bobcats. It's going to be a very close game. I think in the end, my basis of this is the fact that the Colts are scoring slightly better, but they're allowing more points than they are scoring by a long shot. Bobcats are sure they're allowing about the same amount of points, but it's not as big a deal in this case. I'm going to go with that being what's happening in this game. I'm going to go with the Bobcats winning. Knights and Tigers, a tough matchup between the Knights and Tigers. This basically could decide this could be a playoff match that could occur at some point during the next season. Of course, we have a long way before the playoffs, and these are the current playoff standings. I have to go with the Knights here. I'm going to go with a 1-point prediction in favor of the Knights, but it's going to be a very tough game. Knights currently 5-2, but the Tigers are 93. Both of these teams have a pretty decent score line. so I'm not going to go terribly off that. Hawks and UC, I'm going Athens all day because there's no chance. And this one, I think it's going to be a blowout. 21 points, my favorite. I don't think the Hawks have what it takes. Sure, the Hawks last week didn't do terribly, but if you look back what the Hawks have had in the ABL South, combined, they have scored a very low amount of points. Their closest game was didn't actually score the Hawks. Go back to the week 7. Hawks was lost 71 to 80. And with that, I do think it's a very weak. It's a very good chance that this is just not going to be this year for the Hawks. I'm not going back to what's happened with the games, but if you look at what happened, is they're scoring on their range is currently 91 to 40. As for the Bulldogs, the range is as low up to 100 all the way down to 70. So basically a whole lot better. Athens have a very good chance, I think, of winning this game because they're doing much better than the team they're going to be facing. I have to go with that being a Athens win by a long shot. I would not be surprised if this is a blowout. The game I'm really interested in to see what will happen is going to have to be the Lions and Saints game. However, there's another game I'm really looking forward to seeing, and that will be the Werewolves and Colts game, I believe. The Colts game. Colts play the Bobcats here, and that would be a very interesting game that could potentially take them second, assuming the Techs do not win. And I have the Techs winning that game, but Browns have a good chance of winning that game as well. So it's going to be interesting either way, and that's what I think is going to happen into this week's idea. If you guys have any you guys can predict your own teams below each of these commented videos. I will put our link to this list, to the list for the Sports Hour list. I will see you guys next week, and that will be halfway through the season, which will be a very interesting episode. See you guys then, and don't forget, guys, to keep root for a team, I guess.